This is not the video that I planned on putting out late on a Friday night. I had planned on doing a commentary video on Peter King's story about the Ravens' fourth round. I had prepped some thoughts and even typed out a couple of things, but this is too much to pass up. I slapped together two tweets and a little poll that I did on my YouTube channel front page about Chuck Clark possibly being traded. It sounds like something's in the works. I'm not sure, if my options that I presented on my YouTube channel here are actually realistic. To me, I'm not doing Clark for Bradbury straight up because we're not that Bradbury's not a good player, or now Kadarius Toney's a little different, or Darius Slayton. Don't get me wrong, but even those two guys, I would hope that there's at least some discussion of what type of draft pick value there is in return, because what they're getting from us is not just Chuck Clark. And first of all, I've been a huge Chuck Clark fan for a long time. Now, last year on my channel, I did, point out some coverage deficiencies that he had in terms of lack of eye discipline. I don't believe any issues he has in coverage are physical. Chuck Clark is capable of doing all the things that he was asked to do. I think he would play better in Mike McDonald's system than he would in Wink Martindale's system. I don't mean to denigrate Wink Martindale. We certainly did have some good defenses under him, but there were times where our coverages got exposed. I've documented that, thoroughly on this channel, and I feel like my analysis of those situations is pretty accurate. I don't feel like I'm coming into it with anti-Wink Martindale bias. Just so you know, I was a huge fan of Buddy Ryan and Rex Ryan and the coverages and the things they did. I just thought that there was a time and place to move away from heavy pressure man to man, and 4th and 11 against the Chicago Bears when our starting quarterback is out and we already got the lead, and one more defensive play wins us the football game, is that time and is that place. And I thought it was a ridiculous decision. I'll continue to mention it and be petty about it. I think Chuck Clark would do wonders for the Giants because he knows the system, he knows the calls. He could walk right in there and be a defensive captain. Having said that, they're getting a good player, a smart player. He would obviously be motivated. I think he likes Wink, and he succeeded in Wink's system. We stepped in for Tony Jefferson, I think in 19, right? I think in 19. Maybe it was 18, but I think 19. But in any case, we're giving them more than just Chuck Clark. And so me personally, I would at least inquire about possibility of a draft pick in return, even if it's a fifth, something like that. So at this point in time now, there's pull my other screen up. There's like 87 votes on the poll. Most people are saying, I do not want to trade Chuck Clark. We're up to 47% now. I do not want to trade Chuck Clark. I think if Kadarius Toney or Darius Slayton is included with Bradbury, then we're in a real interesting place as Ravens fans, because that means we might be finished with the wide receiver position. Unless we're bringing in Jarvis Landry, we're signing Jarvis Landry, and we're trading Chuck Clark for Bradbury and maybe a fifth or maybe a fourth. Okay, then we're addressing receiver with a veteran signing. We're bringing in another veteran corner. I've heard different complaints, different thoughts, on Bradbury. I'm not sure what you guys' thoughts are. Put them in the comment section. I don't have any thoughts, to be honest with you, on Bradbury necessarily. I do have 2.5 games of the Giants pre-recorded on my computer. I tend to pre-record stuff and cut it up, so it's easy for me to find in the database that I have. Now, I don't have any Giants defensive film in that database, so it would take me a little while to get some film and evaluate it. So other people probably are better than me right now at saying, what his level of play is. Some people have said, he'd be a starting corner for 2/3 of the teams in the NFL. Apparently his 2020 season was really good. I'm not sure about last year. I really don't even know if he was injured or what. Getting rid of Chuck Clark sounds controversial. It does remind me, I think it was 4 days ago. You see the date in the top right. That's a beat writer for a New York area sports newspaper, putting it out there. Talking about Bradbury to the Ravens. I mentioned it on my channel. A couple other people mentioned it in the comment section that the Giants are a natural trade partner for Chuck Clark. If you ask me, anything that includes Toney or Slayton really tells us that we're done with receiver as Ravens front office. We'd be done, and we certainly have a lot of safeties. Don't get me wrong, and Kyle Hamilton's going to be great. And no, we never spent any time talking about Marcus Williams. Like it seems like Marcus Williams is a guy who's been with us 3 years, and we take him for granted. Like we're taking the dude for granted. He hasn't played a snap for us. And one thing I will say is, this tweet but from Chuck Clark, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. It's got to be something else besides now maybe Chuck Clark got wind that a trade is in the works. So so that's what his tweet is about. I certainly hope that it's not like he tweeted this shit to kick off a trade going or something, or maybe he requested a trade. I just don't get it. I kind of don't get it if this is unprompted by him, and that would be surprising to me. What I think I know of Chuck Clark, like high character guy, really intelligent football player, leader. From what I can see, I think leader. I've documented the lack of eye discipline sometimes in pass coverage, but plays hard, plays downhill. I think we blitzed him too much. I think we had him up near the line of scrimmage too much in coverage, man to man. A lot of times we would take him and put him in the tight end's face, which is a bear concept. We play a 0 and 2 threes, 2 rush ends off the edge, and put Chuck Clark in the tight end's face. That's a bear concept. That's a bear front. Play a man to man with him. And what would happen? What teams would do is they would just leave the tight end in the pass pro. They would just leave the tight end in the pass pro. The tackle would step to Clark. The guard would step to the 3 technique. Now, in that, what we're doing is, though, we're still getting something out of that. We're forcing single blocks with the guard, center, and the other guard on the nose and the 2-3s. So we're still gaining a tactical advantage if we can win those matchups. But my point is, like, putting Chuck Clark up there near the tight end, I don't really think it did much more than that, for real. I thought in some cases we actually opened up seams for people to throw the ball on us. The Pittsburgh Steelers game has 2 perfect examples, if you ask me. We moved Chuck Clark up to the line of scrimmage, and they hit us with two touchdowns. I think it was 2 touchdown passes. Excuse me. One of them was a 4th and 1. I probably should show the play here instead of talking about it. One of them was a 4th and 1 conversion on like an over concept from right to left side. Brandon Stevens was in man-to-man coverage on a slot receiver. It might have been Johnson, but I don't think it was Johnson. And they hit us, the number 1 receiver versus Anthony Averett. And there was no help in the middle of the field because Chuck Clark was way up near the line of scrimmage. Then the first touchdown that they threw in the second game against the Steelers up there, or the first game against the Steelers up there, touchdown down in the red zone, we had Chuck Clark up near the line of scrimmage. And miscommunication on a twin set to the right side between Marlon Humphrey and Anthony Averett, and we give up a touchdown with no middle of the field safety there. That's not Chuck Clark's fault. They told Chuck Clark to line up near the line of scrimmage. That's scheme. That's scheme. That's coaching, or lack thereof. I think Chuck Clark will play better in Mike Macdonald's system. Now, it's also possible they don't want him. That's possible. That'd be harsh reality. But look, if we want this team to be better, I mean, if you gave me the choice, like, do I want to trade Chuck Clark or do I want to keep Chuck Clark? Like, that's a tough call, man. That's a tough call. And for real, like, it would just depend on the compensation package in return. But we want the best team possible. We want the best players possible. For real, we do. So if trading Chuck Clark to get Bradbury, I did see one thing say Bradbury and a 3rd. I mean, imagine we pick up a 3rd and we get Bradbury. That kind of opens things up a little bit, guys. I know that, there's still, it's a dead issue in some ways as far as trading for Deebo Samuel and stuff. But my thing to you, I'm saying to you, is this might be a preliminary trade. This might be a preliminary trade. Let's pick up another 3rd. And then we can use that 3rd and a 1st to trade for Deebo Samuel. I mean, if this is the preliminary trade and that is the checkmate move, who would not vote for that? If you can get Bradbury and Deebo Samuel, and we've got to give up our 1st next year, and the 3rd we get from the Giants, and maybe maybe our 4th next year as well. Okay, what? Tell me what's the problem with that? We now had the best roster in the league without a doubt. I think we have enough safeties to survive without Chuck Clark. Do we have enough safeties to be super, super elite? Yeah. Marcus Williams is pretty damn good. Kyle Hamilton is pretty amazing and talented. If you follow me on Twitter, you hopefully have seen my 2 little short video breakdowns of Kyle Hamilton and what he brings to the table. I'm separating those videos by skills. I'm not going to try to do a film study per se of all of his skills in a 2-minute long video, which is what Twitter restricts you to, unless y'all know something better than I do. If I had to pick to trade for Chuck Clark, and I knew that this was the first of 2 trades to happen, absolutely, yes, is my vote. And having said that, I'm someone that respects Chuck Clark. Glad to see him come into the NFL as, I believe, a 4th-round pick. I might be wrong. Maybe it was 3rd. And succeed, create a career for himself. Generational wealth, hopefully, for him and his family. and hopefully he's going to go to a place, if he does get traded, where he has success. Now, we all know the Giants are absolute mess as a franchise. And what is it about them where they're willing to give up possibly Kadarius Toney and or Darius Slayton? I'd rather have the pick and then use that pick to get Deebo Samuel, unless that's off the table. If you ask me, if Chuck Clark gets traded this weekend and a receiver comes back in return, then we're out of the Deebo Samuel sweepstakes, which we might be out of already. It sounds like maybe we out of it already. Kadarius Toney is talented. Darius Slayton is talented, obviously. That will be an interesting pickup. I don't think that they offer us any more in terms of physicality that we don't already have, but Kadarius Toney obviously makes people miss. You guys let me know what you think of my thoughts. This was very impromptu by me. I did not plan on doing something like this. It was fun for me to do, though, to package the two tweets together with the poll. And just to give you a little update on the poll, we are at 44%. I do not want to trade Chuck Clark. 34%. Chuck Clark for Kadarius Toney, straight up. Couple of people have been in support of it. As long as we getting Kadarius Toney in return or getting Bradbury in return. So now the other element to this, I guess, is if we're going to get Bradbury in return straight up, or Bradbury plus a pick, maybe the deciding factor here is maybe the Giants don't want to give up a pick. And we're saying, okay, if you don't want to give up a pick, then you got to eat some of Bradbury's salary. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe the Giants don't want to do both. You know what I mean? Trade away a pick and eat some of Bradbury's salary. Maybe that's the issue. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I know this is, yet another commentary video from me, but I thought I couldn't pass it up because I called for this on my channel, 4 or 5 days ago that it was a possibility. I didn't say that we have to trade Chuck Clark. I said that it was definitely a possibility. Hopefully, Kyle Hamilton going out there and having the green dot on his helmet in this rookie camp doesn't have anything to do with this. Hopefully, Chuck Clark got some wind that the trade was being discussed, and that's what this tweet is about. Hopefully this tweet by him is not a reaction to Kyle Hamilton going out there with the green dot. I mean, come on. It's rookie minicamp. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments section. Appreciate you checking the video out.